G'day scrubbers. Well, here we are again, and right now I need to be doing a lot of servers, so bit of a marathon of servers. What we got here is it's actually quite a reasonably later model, the HP ProLiant DL380 G7. So I've got some G8s as well. I think maybe I can get some value for the G8s. The G7's probably a little bit old. Maybe even the G8s are old. Who knows? But yeah. So I'm in a bit of a rush to get as many servers that I've got here scrapped out, because next week I'm going to get rid of all my circuit boards and stuff. So I want to get as many high grade server boards out the way as possible. And yeah, we'll see how we go. Let's get rid of these fans. Yeah, so I've been plodding along slowly and just catching up with everything going on, and yeah, been processing quite a bit, so it's been good. Yeah, so yeah, these are the boards that I want out because they're so big and decent weight, so quite a lot of value there. And the high grade server board kind of boards, or the tub that I've got, is the only one that sort of needs to be filled up. We've got quite a lot of PCI cards here and risers and so on. So we'll get onto them and then get to the good stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys that are still scrapping and so on are going well. Just got to fix my mic here. Yeah, you know, hope everyone's still, you know, continuing on and doing their thing and doing okay out of, you know, scrap e-waste and stuff. I've noticed, you know, like on Facebook pages and so on, there's, there you go, just a regular PCI card. There's quite a lot of, you know, people into gold recovery, getting into it more and more. And it makes sense because, you know, the price of gold is, you know, as high as it's ever been, record highs. So I remember when I started eWaste, you know, the price of gold was like around $1,200 US, or maybe $1,000 US an ounce. Not really, can't really remember, but you know, now that's actually a nice PCI card. Now you're looking at, oh gosh, what is it, 2,800 US, or it's about 3,800 Australian. And so my theory back then was, you know, when it came to gold recovery stuff, and I kept, you know, like saying to people, look, you know, don't worry about going for gold recovery straight up. And then selling your gold, just accumulate it you know, your CPUs, all the good CPUs that we used to get. We used to get a lot of ceramic CPUs 10 years ago. Nowadays, ceramic CPUs are a lot harder to obtain. You know, geez, I remember 5 years ago it was like one PC on average, 1 in 100 that would have a ceramic CPU. As far as when you're recycling e-waste, now it's like 500 CPU PCs. You'll get one ceramic CPU, old school vintage PC. You know, those days are kind of over for ceramic CPUs. I mean, there still are people with stockpiles of very old school CPUs, PCs, and you know, obviously there are still people, you know, into it, but you know, like the Pentium Pro, that was like nearly 30 years ago now, so it's understandable that we're just not going to find them as much as we used to. Get these. Usually just give them a little bit of scrape to see if there are no copper here. It's just straight aluminium. So yeah, but like I said, if you accumulated your stuff and you weren't really worried about gold recovery, you'd be doing really well now as far as the value of your gold recovery items, because everything's worth so much now. The price of gold is, you know, like I said, all-time high. So for me, you know, I'm kind of glad in a way that I didn't try and process my gold recovery stuff, because the value is there. We know what we kind of get out of things like the ceramic CPUs, the BGAs and gold fingers. So hopefully a lot of you have done well just by stockpiling it. And yeah, and who knows, gold might continue to keep rising, and yeah, you might be surprised. In a few years' time, we might be looking at $3,500, $4,000 US gold. You know, who knows? You know, silver, on the other hand, it's more of an industrial metal. It's not really an investment metal. You know, like the thing that has happened with gold over the last year or so, couple of years, it's gone from a tier 2 investment to a tier 1, so it's graded as a tier 1 investment. So that makes a big difference as far as you know, the banking system in the world goes. So now banks are, you know, holding it because it is a tier 1 investment. It's now classed as your number 1 asset. So that in itself makes all the difference, especially the way the monetary system works these days. Let me just get this out. Yeah, the you know, eventually we're all going to go on to a digital currency, I guess. And yeah, probably the best thing for you know, the powers that be to back their digital currency, or a country to back its digital currency, would be with gold. Yeah, so it's all good, guys. Yeah, this is what I like. A huge server motherboard, you know, as big as it can get, because, you know, we're selling this by weight. The bigger, the heavier, the better. Little backplane board here I can put in mid-grade. It's a nice. It's kind of like memory in a way. Hard to put it into RAM, but you could get away with it because it's as good, if not better, than any RAM stick. So you can, if you've got a couple of them, you can probably get away with them. We've got this base plate is the only thing we've got to take off, but I'll get the RAM out. And so we've got regular RAM and shielded RAM. So there you go, just a mix. They're 8 gigs. They're all 8 gig. With the shielded RAM, I prefer to take my shield off. Some people sell it to me and I buy it with as shielded RAM. Obviously you get less because you got steel clips and aluminium. So there we go. So we got what, 2, 4, what do we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 on each side, so 18 RAMs. That's awesome. Couple of CPUs. Probably be a little bit too old, but can check them out. But yeah, usually when there's a next model from this model, usually everything's too old on this. As you can see, 8 gig RAMs. Nowadays they're putting in 64 gig RAMs in servers. Okay, but yeah, now that is a board, and there's really not a great deal on it, to be honest. There'll be BGAs under these 2 heat sinks, maybe strip of BGAs under these heat sinks, couple there, but you know, for the weight, it's just not worth, you know, going for the gold recovery yourself. You're much better off selling this to like Board Sort in America, or Board Sort in Australia, which is me, and or just there, you know, your circuit board buyers wherever you are. You're going to get, it's really good weight. Like here, probably get about 20 bucks for this board. And so there you go, one done. Okay, so as for the rest, there's no hard drives in this. All the hard drives have been taken out of this one. Put a bit of junk back. The hot swap fans can go. And we're pretty much done. So this one's done. Get rid of this, and that's one server. And yeah, like I said, I've got so many servers at the moment. I'm in a bit of a rush to process, so that's all I'm going to really process in this video is just server. Okay, well, this one's EMC Squared Corporation. Got a few of these, and they don't look much at all. Yeah, not much of a board at all. Almost just a basic mid-grade peripheral board, really. You know, so it's a perfect example of, you know, just because it comes out of a server, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a server board, as far as grading is concerned. So, well, you know, it is what it is. You know. what do? You've got a giant power supply. There you go. Well, I can get iron the alley if I leave the cable on. Iron the alley, that's the best option for me. Okay, bit of cable, not a, really, yeah, like I said, I've got a few of these, and yeah, a little bit disappointing in that circuit board. We'll see what we can make of it. Okay. At least we've got one ram stick out of it. Oh well. Yeah, only 1 gigabyte. Yeah, so okay, probably the only way to make this, it looks like it's got a CPU in it, so we might get it to motherboard grade, PC motherboard grade. Yeah. It's just got a little green fiber CPU, like a laptop CPU. So it's got the pins. So at least we get green fiber, no heatsink. So it weighs virtually nothing, but still, they all add up. So yeah. So not a server grade motherboard. It's only got a single socket. For server grade, it needs to have dual socket CPU. One socket. It's a good regular motherboard. That's all it is. That's that. No hard drives. Not going to bother. That board isn't really even a motherboard. That's it. So that was as quick as you can get. At least we've got a heavy power supply unit that we can put into yeah, iron the alley. I'll just get some scrap steel rubbish in there. There we go. Just to use up a bit of the space. All right. Might just clean up a few of the plugs, get a few plugs in. That's what we've got to do. At least we get some value out of the wasted plugs. They do have metals in there that they can get some value out of as well, so that'll do. Look. Well, at least they're going to be quick scrap, these ones, for the ones that I've got. Obviously don't need to do another one on video. I'll get one screw in. There we go, signed, sealed and delivered. EMC Squared Corporation. Really oddball thing. It looks like it would have had 4 hard drives in there. No hard drives. All done. Alright. Move on. Okay, so this one's heavy as. It's a Dell PowerVault MX3200. A PowerVault. Okay. Get that off. Okay, so we've got some hard drives here. That's half the reason why it's so heavy. Full-size power hard drives. So, oh well, that's good. I'm glad I've chosen to do this server because I'm sending out boards and yeah, boards and hard drives and laptops, and so that's 6 hard drives, SAS drives out the way. Nothing spectacular, but thank God they're gone. Nothing worse when I send off boards and the hard drives and everything, and then I continue to scrap, and then I just get a whole lot more straight up. I try and get as many done as possible. So these power supplies, they got the gold fingers. They don't have cable coming out, so I just take the gold fingers off and then throw this into scrap steel. If they had cables, and usually in servers they don't have cables anyway, so it looks like there's a bit going on here. Okay, well, how's that? That's kind of pretty strange to have your little hard drives, and they're 300 gig. Yeah, still virtually nothing. These would be 10, 12 years old. But oh well. Couple extra hard drives. There's something going on here, but maybe it's all from inside. Okay. So yeah, I don't mind Dells. They're pretty straightforward, except they give me a lot of plastic at the end. What do you do? But at least the fans should all come out at once. There we go. Just a nice rack of fans. All right. Yeah, it looks okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't have much in the way of RAM. Only one CPU. These are mostly blanks. As you can see, just blanks. Plastic. So out of the whole server, there's 4 RAM sticks. And let's see, they're only 2 gig RAM sticks. How's that? So 8 gig of RAM in a server. I've had servers where there's 32 RAM sticks, and each one are 16 gig. So it just goes to show how out of date some of this stuff is, and well, that's why I get it. It's perfect for scrapping, and that's why the companies give them to me, I suppose, you know, because they're certainly done with them. Okay. Some of this cable out the way. Okay. Okay, we just got a riser card here. Nothing, you know, spectacular, but as it is, leaving the fingers on, we can just throw this into mid-grade board, take the fingers off, and it becomes a nothing board. No grade, low grade. Not interested. All right. Might as well get this riser card out if we can. And again, just a mid-grade board. That's all you can do. It does have quite a decent motherboard. Not full size. More like an L shape. Does have a copper aluminium radiator. Get a bit more value out of that. Okay, just another mid-grade board. Nothing there. There's really nothing there. That's where those two back hard drives were, and the power supplies. So nothing there. Once again, mid-grade board. And again, it's not a PCI card. People that bring me boards to, you know, sell me boards, they put these into slot cards. They're actually not. They're a mid-grade board. No idea. Honestly, this is one that I'm going to have to just... I just can't work it out. Yeah, I mean, it's not much of a board anyway. I'm just going to leave this one. This is the first server ever in 10 years of processing eWaste that I've actually just left, because it's beyond my understanding. I don't know what's holding it down. There's no screws underneath. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to waste my time on it. You know, for $5, bugger it. It can go to buggery. Suppose what I will do, that's just how it goes. I mean, like I said, it's the first one in 10 years of scrapping eWaste that I've had to completely leave. I have had some that have caused me a lot of time and trouble, but this one just doesn't give me any idea of which way I can do it. So take off the gold fingers out of these power supplies. Pop them back in. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's the first one ever. Well, that's something new. Hey, I just couldn't work out how to get that board out, and I'm not prepared to spend half an hour trying to work it out and still not get anywhere. So another one scrapped. Okay, so, well, this is another Sun Microsystem SunSpark Enterprise TS220 or T5220. Yeah, a different version of a SunSpark. I actually I just did another pickup in between, and yeah, I got a few more SunSparks. Just regular power supply, no fingers, but has pins if you can be bothered. I generally don't. The back doesn't need much work there. All right. Wow. Okay, well, as per usual, the SunSpark never fails to surprise. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 RAMs, shielded RAM. Wow, yeah, and a pretty decent motherboard. And just work out how to get these cards out. Yeah. All right. Just riser cards or expansion cards. Nothing much to these. I'll just throw these in the mid-grade board. Even the gold fingers are, they're quite a shiny gold, so it's not much as far as gold recovery anyway. It's still okay, but yeah. I'm usually pretty picky with the fingers that I take. So whatever I end up doing with the fingers, most of mine that I've kept, that I take off, are much higher grade. So it's really hard to value fingers like that because, yeah, they're not just an overall value, based on fingers in general. Most of mine are really high end. So I dare say I'm probably better off recovering the gold myself from them instead of trying to sell them, because I'm not sure anyone would pay the value, I suppose. There is a backplane board for the hard drives, but it's so small I'm not going to bother with that. And yeah, so only one CPU by the looks, and yeah, wow, 16 RAMs. So, and the motherboard is okay. It's not super spectacular, and I dare say that's just going to be a regular Sunspark ceramic-y CPU. Yeah. So the weather's starting to warm up here, so that's pretty good. So I've booked my buyer to come and pick up the circuit boards. I've got quite a lot I need to get rid of, and I've still got people coming to sell me boards in between, so kind of overloaded, but at least I'll have empty tubs leading up to Christmas, because that can also get quite busy Christmas time with people wanting to clear out their circuit boards and bring them to me. So yeah, so it's quite a amazing board, really. With the RAM, it looks really good. So I'll just get the RAMs out, and as I have mentioned, I remove the shields off the RAM generally, and yeah, these are pretty easy. They're only 2 gig RAM, so well, servers, it really doesn't matter, because I very rarely get good RAM from servers that I can sell, unless it's like yeah, even 16 gig Cisco RAM. Yeah, it's only specific, but yeah, it needs to be 32 gig these days. Might as well get off this copper heatsink. At least it's a nice, solid copper, well, solid copper base. Yep, straight into number 2 copper. Beautiful. And unless I've mentioned it a long time ago that this kind of copper, when you melt it, it's kind of shiny. It's not like real. It goes, you sell it like this part here. That's pure copper, right? It's kind of orangey how copper is, but these plates are technically not. I don't know what they mix them with, whether it's a zinc or something, a bit like brass, but it's yeah, it's a different thing. So when you melt this sort of stuff and you create a copper bar, yeah, it just doesn't look quite right. Whereas this part down the bottom, that's how it should look. Very orange. Don't know if, I'm sure you can tell the difference. One's shiny, one's not. But it still goes as number 1 copper hole. Sorry, number 2 copper. Okay, so in this case, we've got the Sunspark CPU. A nice one, but it's a board mounted one. So I'm not going to touch that. I'll leave that. And there we go. Good server board for my buyer, and yep, it's going to go straight out in a few days when they come and pick it all up. Yeah, so well, unlike Dell's, which can be quite awkward servers, at least Sun Microsystems, in this case Sun Enterprise, actually make it easy for us scrappers. And sometimes these plugs, let me just get rid. instead of you know, fingers, pins, they've got gold fingers, right? So you can also remove them, you know, since you're there. So I'm still not getting that many pickups. I've got some regulars, but nothing new. It's kind of a bit concerning, because I am paying money for advertising and it's just doesn't seem to be working anymore. Yeah, so that's a pretty decent board. It's only a mid-grade board, nothing spectacular. It's only got one little chip on it, but it does have little gold fingers and, you know, gold flashing here. So, yep, we'll still get mid-grade for it. Better than nothing. And the rest, well, that's it. Because, yeah, like I said, it's just a small backplane board, and it's not worth pulling everything apart just for a tiny hard drive backplane board. So all I'm going to do here is just clean up these, put these plates back in, close it up, and we'll send it off for scrap steel. So not hugely high value, but still pretty good. With at least we've got 16 RAMs. You know, I just have to clean them up. And like I said, these just go as mid-grade boards. Otherwise, you can take off the fingers for a lot of you guys that are building up as many fingers as you can, and then just throw this out. It becomes a nothing board, so it's up to you. Either way. Alright, well that was okay. I got a really interesting one in this very last pickup I just did. I picked up some Mac servers. So we'll have a look at one of the Macs. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Okay, well this is one of the Macs that I got. Nice Mac logo. Obviously the 3 hard drive caddies were taken out. Happens a lot. They remove the hard drives before they send them off for recycling. Okay, that's typical Mac. Huh. Blue motherboard. Couple of power supplies here. Gosh, how's them for tiny little fingers, but I'll take them. And I'll put the power supplies back in the unit as scrap steel. I don't bother opening up power supplies. All right. Well, free piece of plastic. Oh well, it's got 6 RAM sticks. That's a start. At least they're nice clean RAM sticks. Don't have to worry about shields. Yeah, 2 gig RAM sticks. So just goes to show the age. But 6 RAM sticks, can't complain. Just again, leave the fingers on. I can throw this in mid-grade board. What do we got? A few screws. Okay, pretty decent piece of iCard. It's got 4 gold band crystals. Wow, interesting. Obviously, got to take off the other riser. It's okay. And yeah, well, Okay. All right. This kind of cable, I just throw it in with the plugs and all, just into low grade with plugs. Doesn't weigh much, but the old fan module. It does have a card along here that actually would go as a mid-grade board. It does have tiny little, they're not really chips, but we'll still get away with it being a mid-grade board. There we go. Not much, but something. And that's just a fan module. Scrap steel. Same with that mid-grade board. It's a pretty good one. It has another 4 gold band crystals on it. So before I throw this into mid-grade, actually 5, 6, so, you know, I'll take off the gold band crystal oscillators, and you know, and it's actually a good mid-grade board. Don't know what's there's some BGAs under there. Actually, if I took off the heat sinks and sort of like cut it here, it could go as a high grade board, but I'll just leave it with the heat sinks and throw into mid-grade boards less 6 gold band crystal oscillators, so that's pretty good. And there's just an expansion card again. This would go as a mid-grade board even if you took off these gold fingers. Even though they're really shiny, I'll probably just leave it and just give my buyer a bit of meat on the bone. It's too shiny for me, and but for those that are just, you know, don't get heaps of e-waste, the more the better. Even if you took off these, like I said, you could still throw this into mid-grade. Okay, it's just a little rechargeable battery, RAID card battery thing. Leave that. Won't worry about that card. Yeah, so the hard drives are gone anyway, so alright. So our motherboard, it will just go as probably a server grade board. Probably this is a really high-end card here. You know, if I took off the heatsink, you know, it's got gold fingers. It's slot card, not a great deal. Obviously, got to take off the heatsink, so we'll do that. Have a look at the no doubt onboard CPU. Ah, it's actually a regular CPU. That's cool. Wasn't sitting on much. Ah, how's that? That's a nice one. It's got a nice, you know, little gold plate over the silicon chip. It's only silicon chip, but there is some gold over the top, at least. But it's a pinless. So can't go as a green fiber because it doesn't have pins. See, even though it's technically like a green fiber on the back, still has to go as regular with, but it doesn't have the heatsink. So a bonus for the CPU buyer. And that's it. We've got a again a copper. Well, we've got a copper aluminium one this time. I won't bother taking off the fans. Just got to remove the screws, and still get pretty good value for a copper aluminium heatsink. Only a couple of dollars a kilo less than, or probably $3 a kilo less than number 2 copper. So standard server board. Technically, it's only got one socket, so you know you could say it's only a regular motherboard, but it's not. It's obviously a, you know, doesn't have all the rubbish on it. It's got some good BGAs. Got this really nice card, probably a, yeah, another, you know, probably a decent BGA under there. There we go. Put that into server boards, and there's our Mac. I might show you a couple of variations. I'll have a look. Yeah, so this one kind of looks the same from the front. All these, the other ones that I've got didn't come with covers. They've taken them off and just never. It looks the same, but it actually looks like an older motherboard because it's got the older style, you know, battery. Maybe it doesn't make any difference. We'll check the RAM. The RAM usually tells us. The last ones were 2 gigabytes. Yeah, these are 1 gigabyte. So straight up, I could just tell, you know, by the battery that it was a slightly older one. But as you can see, it does have a yeah, that might have been with the CPU. I'm not really sure what's missing off this, but just to give you a little look, it is definitely different. Same kind of style, but as you can see, the fan module is completely different, a lot smaller. Even the power supply is not a hot swap, it's just a setting. But it is what it is. Yeah, wow, that's actually that's a very high-end board. That's a nice PCI card as well. So in this case, you can see it doesn't have any gold fingers. It's just got, you know, it's just a kind of like a backplane or a riser card. It's just, this is nothing. This doesn't even go in mid-grade. Put this in like low grade if you have low grade. I don't bother with low grade board. Okay, so that's a nice PCI card, slot card. Does have 1 gold band. I'll just put it in slot card. But this one here, these are, you know, quite high end. Now it also has one of those battery packs on the top here. So whatever you do with them, you've still got to take off this battery. But yeah, now let me get this. If I can get the battery out, they're usually glued on. This one's actually screwed on. The screws are on the other side, so. Okay, so if I get the battery off, it'll just be just a little mid-grade board. And there we go, little mid-grade board, fine. Battery gone, got to get rid of batteries. But this card, it's a pretty awesome card. These BGA chips, central chips here. These are actually very high in gold recovery. They're really good, even though they don't look much. You also get these on the old slot CPU cards. So yeah, they're good, really good for gold recovery. It does have a gold band crystal, but you know, I've mentioned every time I kind of see them, these are tantalum capacitors. They're like got a fluorescent orange sticker over the top. There's 5 of them there. Now these tantalum capacitors are as far as the surface mount tantalum capacitors go, you know, the yellow or the black ones and other ones like that, they've got tantalum, no problem, but they've also got the highest content of silver in these. So these are high silver content. I keep these separate to any other tantalum capacitors. And yeah, so they're, you know, they're pretty large, but they're also quite little heavy things. So you get a handful of them, and it's pretty decent weight. And when you're considering it's silver and tantalum, and I think because silver and tantalum, you could probably melt off the silver and the tantalum bead in the middle. That will just remain. Oh, well, my camera overheated halfway through what I was trying to say, but yeah, all I was trying to say is you could melt the tantalums and separate the silver from the tantalum, because the tantalum won't melt in the heat that it takes to melt silver, because tantalum requires extreme high temperature. So yeah, my theory is you could actually just melt the silver off the tantalum and away you go, but I could be wrong. Either way, higher content of silver than any other surface mount tantalum capacitor. And like I said, these BGAs are really high grade. Yeah, really good card that. Alright, well, it's pretty much just a motherboard we're trying to get now. And okay, so yeah, not a great deal. I thought I'd just have a little look at one of the other versions that I've got. I don't often get Apple servers. That might be it. Just check. Yeah. Always check these risers in case they're brass. Power supply just goes as scrap steel, and there we have it. It's got some nice gold fingers there, and again we can put this in a server board. Obviously we've got to take off this metal bracket. That's not going to be acceptable, but aside from that, yeah, not a bad board. Probably have to take off this heatsink. It's just a bit too much. Oh yeah. Yeah, too much for what it is. So it's just a regular aluminium heatsink. It does have a copper tube in there, but I don't bother if it's just got a little copper tube in there. It's, you know, 1% of the weight. Did reveal a nice nice apple chip here, white ceramic underneath. So there's another BGA here, but it's only a fibre by the looks. So that looks much more presentable than having that on there, you know. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, another one for the server grade. That's going to go out in a couple of days. I forgot. The back plate just slipped out. Nice and easy. I can throw that in. Put the other one in that I forgot. Actually I can't, because I can't really put anything back in because it doesn't have a cover, so no point. And this card here, there's nothing on it. It's tiny little chips. I'm not going to bother taking it off because it doesn't really grade as a mid-grade board. And that's it. That's the other Mac. So as I've mentioned, my next priority is to get rid of the circuit boards. My buyer coming, totally overloaded here now. You know, so cable, yeah, mid-grade. That's also mid-grade. That's high-grade server boards. I'll have a few more. Try and get as many as I can. PC motherboards. Overflow of PC motherboards as usual, and I'll have more because I've got another guy bringing me boards to sell, so I'll be filling up an empty tub when the truck gets here. And also mid-grade boards. Some of these kind of look like higher grade boards, but they're just well, that's got a fan on it and there's just nothing on there to be a high grade board, so we just class them as mid-grade. And all these laptops have obviously got to go, so that's all going to go out in one batch, which is going to be good. And also got what do I got, a tub of it's not totally full, I'll have a few more, but PCI cards, slot cards, and also got I think I got yeah, they're all laptop motherboards. Normally I don't scrap my own laptops unless they're really damaged, but this is just what people bring me, so quite a lot of laptop motherboards that need to go. So that's 6 tubs plus an extra one for the PC motherboard. That's 7 tubs, and 2 wheelie bins will go out. Half a van of laptops, and heaps, well, 4, 8, 12, 14. I'll have 15 crates as usual. That's about average, 15 crates of hard drives. There's about 33 kilos of hard drives in each one, about 75, 80 pounds, whatever. And yeah, still going with the servers. Hey, there's another Sun Microsystem. I think I've already done one of these on the videos. And there's another big Sun Microsystem down there that I done in the previous video. Yeah, like I said, servers coming in and out everywhere. But that's good. Servers are good. A lot of cable. I just tipped out cable on the floor probably a month ago, and I still haven't got to them. And then yeah, I'm getting there. I'm slowly getting there, and you know, this side is just stuff that I resell, PCs and good laptops that go to my my other buyer. But yeah, so the next video will probably be a cash out of this, and who knows, I might even send out a batch of RAM as well, seeing that we're getting close to Christmas. So I think, yeah, we'll see how I go. I wouldn't mind offloading a bit of RAM, but we'll see how we go, like I said. So anyway, guys, that was just another random server scrap. Yeah, getting low on goods, apart from the servers. Some servers there, getting quite low on stuff to scrap, and like I said, my pickups just are slowing down a lot, so hopefully that starts to pick up, getting, you know, coming towards Christmas. do have, oh, there's still more PCs there. Don't know what they're doing there. I get a lot of this industrial stuff, and I've got to get on top of that, because before I know it, they'll call me again and I'll get another huge batch of this stuff. It's mostly just aluminium and stuff, but yeah, all right, well, that's me. And yeah, next video will be, and I've still got a lot of boards here to check out, partially depopulate. Most of these are just high grade boards that need, just want to take a crystal oscillator off each one. Too many. Yeah, and then I've got a lot of boards that, how's that? That's a, see that board there? That's a dual socket Pentium Pro motherboard. So there's still a Pentium Pro in there. Haven't done that yet. Only had one, unfortunately. But yeah, that's a nice board. You know, just a regular motherboard, but yeah, socket 8. And yeah, so I've got a lot of boards like this that need extra processing, you know, like, so you can see, if I can hold this camera, these chips here, ceramic chips, they've got an aluminium cap on them, but you know, I've taken one off and you can see the bonding wires, that's, you know, really insane amount of gold in there, beautiful. Those bonding wires are 24 karat gold, really high. So I've got a lot of that sort of stuff packed away, and that I need to, you know, depopulate things that, you know, too good, like white ceramics with gold caps. You know, look at those fingers, you know, those fingers, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so a lot of high-end boards that I need to put in extra work. But I won't be doing that until I clear everything out. And yeah, all right, well, that's enough for me. I'm just thinking out aloud. Keep scrapping, guys, have fun, and I'll catch you real soon.